Welcome to Reconstructed, where I take a beat, recreate it, and show you how it was made. In this episode, I will be breaking down They Reminisce Over You, which was produced by Pete Rock. So let's just jump into it. The first part of this beat is the sample, which comes from a 1967 track from Tom Scott called Today. Pete Rock sampled two main parts from this track. The first part comes from around the 1 minute and 40 second mark and sounds a bit like this. The second part comes right around the 55-second mark and sounds a bit like this. What Pete Rock did is he took these two parts and he pitched them down about a semitone and a half. Then he chopped the first bit like this to make the hook in the chorus. Then he chopped the second bit like this to make the verse section. Finally, from this sample he uses two other sound effects. The first is a little vocal bit that sounds like this. Then Pete Rock just added a delay to make the final la echo out a bit. The other bit he uses as a sound effect is at the very last part of the horn riff used in the chorus, which he pans left and right and has echoing throughout the verse section, and that sounds like this. Finally, Pete Rock split the sample into two separate channels. One he mixed down to just the bass frequencies, and the other he cut out all of the bass frequencies. This way he was able to manipulate the bass and make it punch more, and it also allowed him to cut it in and out at will like he does at the very beginning of the track. The next part of this track is the drums, which Pete Rock sampled from a 1968 James Brown track called Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, which sounds like this. Pete Rock then pitched it down about 2 semitones, added a bit of reverb and some filtering to make the drums punch a bit more, and then he chopped them into a kick, a snare, a hi-hat, and a pre-snare. Then he layered in a filtered kick, and then another hi-hat to make it sound a little bit more brighter. An interesting part about the drum loop in this track is that, well, it's not a loop. The drum pattern is always slightly changing, with Pete Rock adding extra snares, some snare rolls, and a few other slight variations to keep the drum pattern interesting. This is one of the reasons why I think this track works so well. The drum pattern is constantly keeping you guessing and intrigued. I tried my best to replicate it, and this is what I got. Finally, for the intro, Pete Rock sampled a 1971 track from The Beginning of the End called When She Made Me Promise. He just took the beginning of that track, pitched it down a bit, and left it as is. And that sounds like this. And that's really all the parts that there are to this track. I'm leaving a full arranged version of this track at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and tune in another 4 months when I finally decide to break down another track.